Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday, April 20th, 420, 2021. This is Morning Joey. I'm your host, Joey Molinaro. Thanks for waking up with me. For those on the East Coast, well, no, it's still the right time. I'm all backwards. I'm all messed up because it's 8 a.m. where I am in Chicago. Sweet home, Chicago. I'm in Chicago right now. If you can't tell, new background. I don't know if that's Will's Tower, I think, behind me there in my hotel room. Anyways, in Chicago. So thanks for waking up with me. And I didn't realize it was on Central Time. You got to wake up a little bit earlier if I do 9 a.m. So you're up early every day, and I appreciate you. For those watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe below, as always. Whoa, it's early. Can't talk. Mine's not working. Haven't had enough coffee. Doing a show from the hotel room. Going to go meet up with the Chicago guys here a little bit later. Going to be in Wrigleyville later tonight. Can't wait. My hoodie. Awesome. But you know what's not awesome is I got my chai tea latte with 2 shots of espresso this morning because we got a Starbucks right down the away from the hotel, which is great. But then I go and I get it, and then something about the Starbucks lids, man. Every time you take a drink from them, when they have this cap like this, sometimes there's a lot of like excess left over, and it drips down on your sweatshirt every single time. So I have this awesome cream Chicago Cubs hoodie, and as you can see, there's I wetted it down, but there's a stain right there, and so just gonna act like it's not there. But I had to tell you that it's there because I know people are gonna be like, "There's some on your shirt," and yeah, there is. So yeah, good show today. Excited about this one, being in Chicago, waking up earlier with you guys. As always, today is 420. We'll talk a little bit about that. The Steelers have apparently narrowed it down. The NFL draft is it's single digits days away. We're 9 days away. We're into single digits, so that's great. We're going to take a look at my guy Peter Schrager's mock draft 2.0, and then we're going to rank the worst nights of sleep because and don't mind that. That's not me taking a morning shit or anything. That's just the coffee or the Keurig right next to the computer on the desk. So if you're wanting a sense of how I'm set up in here, I just turn the desk around because it's only one room with the bed and then the bathroom. So my wife is over there in the bed, and we brought our cat with us, Rocco, because we had to give him medicine and we didn't want to have other people come and try to give him medicine. So we brought our cat with us, and he's in the hotel room, and he's looking at me right now, and he's probably going to come over here, and hopefully he does because he's super cute, buddy. But he's got a nice little window perch that he's hanging out, looking out. So, you know, cat's got an awesome life. Just hits the road, little cat, big city, can't complain. Yeah, 420, man. 420. It's definitely fallen off. I was never a big weed guy. Never. I have too bad of anxiety. I remember one time I posted like my 5 favorite albums from high school, or what would be called mixtapes, and like, you know, 2 of them were Wiz Khalifa, one of them was Juicy J, and another one, and the other 2 were Mac Miller. And somebody replied and was like, "Tell us that you're a stoner without telling us that you're a stoner." And I was like, no way, man. Had too bad of anxiety, too bad of paranoia, too bad of panic. Couldn't do that stuff. That stuff would just make me feel like my heart was beating out of my chest and I couldn't breathe. Thought I was going to die. And I didn't like doing that. So I didn't do it. But, you know, had a lot of people that I knew, a lot of buddies that, you know, they were puffing the Chiba, man. In high school, college, still do today. It's all good, you know. A lot of people say it should be legal everywhere. I don't really care. I don't do it. Doesn't really affect me, you know? But I just remember, like, in high school days, dude, it was like an actual, like, legitimate holiday, you know? Like, people would be more excited about that than they were for, like, Halloween and Christmas, you know? If you, like, ask people to rank their favorite holidays, like, in high school and shit, people would be like, well, I mean, 420, yeah. Because everybody liked to do the Wiz Khalifa laugh back in 2011, 2012. Yeah, 420, bro. It's like, hey, that's just not your laugh. I've known you forever. That's just not your laugh, okay? And if you want to call it what it is and say that you're just doing the Wiz Khalifa laugh, then that's fine. But don't try to pull a fast one on me and act like that's your laugh, because it's not. But, yeah, and then, of course, you know, where I went to high school, there would always, right around this time, there was always be like a, you know, a random car search day, where they bring the drug dogs and they'd lock you in, and you'd see the dogs and the cops out there going through the rows of the cars. And I've talked about it before, but again, you're just like, I didn't smoke. I was not a weed guy, but I was like, who knows if one of the boys over the weekend had a beanie on that he'd been smoking in, and then leaves it in the car, and then all of a sudden the dog finds it, and now I'm screwed. People took that shit seriously, though. I remember people took it so seriously that when I was in high school, I think my junior year, our prom landed on 420. And seriously, it was like Saturday, April 20th. That was prom. So one, you're like, what is up with these administrators? How dumb are you to not be like, oh yeah, that wouldn't cause any extra problems. But two, then it was such a big deal that people wanted to pitch the theme of the prom, because you always have like Egyptian nights or like Gatsby or Into the Wild or whatever the fuck as your theme. And the prom board and prom committee and like a lot of people were pushing for like a night in the clouds or something like that. And they were, wanting to push it to be like kind of like an aviation theme or something for prom, when really it was just because it was 420. So they thought it'd be awesome and hilarious to have like a night in the clouds on 420, and then have, the dean of students finally realize it on the night of and then freak out and probably ruin the fun for everybody. Even though prom was not that fun. Did you have fun at prom? No. It's one of those things like, if you go and like, and I made this mistake and I fixed it by my senior year, but senior year prom, it was just like, fuck it. I don't really care who I go with, as long as she's like just down to have fun and it isn't dramatic. And then I just want to be with my best friends, and then whoever we're with, it doesn't really matter, but we know we're going to be together. And so it's going to be fun. But junior year, I just like, it was all about like the date, and it was like junior prom. And I was like picturing like the montage of like, American Pie in my head. And it was like, oh, this is prom. Like, this is a big deal, like this is what movies are made of, like this has to be an awesome fucking night. And I went, and the date was fine. It wasn't anything about the date really. It was, I just didn't go with a lot of my friends. I went with like a lot of her friends and everything. We weren't dating. It was just a date to prom. So now it's like, it's just a night full of small talk bullshit in high school when people haven't figured out how to small talk bullshit yet. So, I think everybody just built, the American pop culture has really screwed over kids and thinking about what prom is going to be. Expect it to be like the best night of your life, after party till 5 a.m. Like, you're like, oh shit, this is like either where I like make the move for the girl that I'm going to make my wife, or like, you're going to like lose your virginity or something, or it's like something from a movie. And then it just ends up like, you and your date don't really talk that much, and you're kind of tired, and you just go home at like 12:15. You're like, I guess I got to take my tux back tomorrow. That's good that I got a good night's rest for that. I don't know. Prom's kind of overrated, but anyways, happy 420 to everybody who's going to be, fucking celebrating, fucking token up and going out into the car during their lunch break and hitting a little bowl or whatever. Get on you, man. Be careful. Enjoy it. Not really a big day for me, but it's a big day for you. So happy 420. All right. I talked about it off the top, and I saw it yesterday. The NFL draft, 9 days away. Very, very excited. Connor, for those about to mock, he is losing his mind. I got to keep him under control. But 9 days away, thank God. And apparently a report came out yesterday that the Steelers have narrowed it down to 3 guys that they like at 24. Those 3 guys being Tevin Jenkins from Oklahoma State, offensive tackle, Landon Dickerson, the center from Alabama, and Najee Harris, the running back from Alabama. Okay, so I made the promise on last week, Thursday or Friday show, that if the Steelers were, because Charlie Casserly came out with that mock draft that doubled down saying that the Steelers are going to be able to take Justin Fields at 24, I said that if that happens, I'll get my hair into a mohawk that makes me look like a rooster. So it's still out there. It's still out there on the board that if that does happen, because maybe this is some smoke screen, maybe Steelers are saying this, they're doing the little Tyson, bam, not Tyson, Muhammad Ali, they're making you look up here and then they're going to hit you with a left hook. But they like Jenkins, they like Dickerson, they like Najee Harris. All of them make a lot of sense, obviously. I'd be fine with all three of them, any of the three at 24, if they called those names. I'd say in order, I would want the most Tevin Jenkins, Najee Harris, and then Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson just scares me because he's got, a history of injury. He's coming off an injury this past year. And, Alex Kozora from Steelers Depot, who I trust more than anybody with Steelers, says, he's got really great first-round tape, but you just really worry about the injuries. So that always scares you a little bit. Number two, Najee Harris. I've said it for a while that I think that would just really help to open up the Steelers offense. If you have a guy who not only is a dynamic runner, but then again, he also can just be an outlet for Big Ben to dump it off to, like Le'Veon Bell. That's when the Steelers offense was humming the most. And if you get a guy like that back, not only can Big Ben try to fire it off to Deontay and Claypool, James Washington, and everybody like that, but then also it's like, that's not working. Doop. Here you go, Najee, take it and gain 8 yards for me. So I love that. But then Tevin Jenkins, I from the start, from when we lost to the Browns in the first round, I was like, all right, it's time. We need to get some maulers on the O-line. We need to get younger on the O-line. We need to build that back up. And everything that I've seen, everything that I've read about Tevin Jenkins, the guy is just a freaking mauler. He'll knock your teeth out, and can help establish that dominance up front. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, those teams just freaking popped you in the mouth, man. And you got to get back to that. So Jenkins, Dickerson, Najee Harris, I'm cool with any of them. I'd say number one, I'd want Jenkins. Number two, Najee Harris. Number three, Dickerson. But if any of those three names are called at 24, we don't move up, if we don't, again, if that's not smoke screens and that's not something to go get Justin Fields, then cool. I'll go with all three of them. I really am. Any of them would not bother me. What's up, guys? What's up? Dude, shut the fuck up. People like this who have Adam Gase as their profile picture, and then just sits on my live stream and watches my live stream and then tells me I stink and this is horrible. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, Steelers definitely need a running back that likes contact. What do you think? A landing spot for Connor? Talking about James Conner? Because he already landed in Arizona. So, yeah, he already signed with Arizona. Let's see, what are we getting back to? I got my notes over here. Yeah, from that, let's go into Peter Schrager's mock draft. Schrager's my guy. He put out mock draft 2.0, and I like to see, and we're 9 days away, like I said, so I like to see. You got all of them laid out here. I like to see what these people who are connected, who are tuned in, who know what's going on, what they say, and react to that. And obviously they got Lawrence and Wilson going 1-2. Then he says Mac Jones at 3. He says less than 2 weeks away. I'm still feeling Mac Jones is a guy. I'm told the 49ers have not made a decision. Continue to do their work on all three quarterback prospects who will be available. Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance. Jones had one of the greatest college football seasons we've seen in recent years, and pro scouts like him a lot, even if the pundits don't. So he has Mac Jones going 3, Kyle Pitts 4, and he gets down to Penei Sewell at 5. Chance Joe Burrow pounds the table to get Jamar Chase, but he keeps hearing that the same line from those in the know, protecting Burrow in the trenches is the priority, and then Jamar Chase going number 6 right afterwards. Has the Cardinals trading up at 7 to get Jalen Waddle. And then he's got the first big surprise, I'd say, of his mock 2.0, almost a week out. He's got the Panthers taking Justin Fields. Schrager says the word linked to Carolina's pick at number 8 is, quote, optionality, which is what Sam Darnold trade provided the Panthers at the quarterback position. I'm not convinced the team is settled at the QB spot just yet. Remember, Darnold's fifth-year option still hasn't officially been picked up, and there's been no long-term extension inked yet. Until those things happen, quarterback is still very possible here. Just trade for Sam Darnold. They don't extend him, then they bring in Justin Fields. That would be definitely one of those, you would have Rich Eisen and everybody. Whoa, all right. Michael Irvin from Trey. Oh, yeah. Denver Broncos taking Trey Lance, number 9. So 5 quarterbacks in the top 10. Trey Lance going to Denver. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like it's either going to be 5 quarterbacks in that first 7, 8, 9 picks, or you're going to see a guy like Fields or Lance or somebody fall. And then maybe that, I'm hoping for the latter option because that could be nice to snag somebody like that if you're Pittsburgh. Has the Patriots taken Devontae Smith, actually trading up to take Devontae Smith? Which would be interesting because don't know if Cam Newton can throw that far. Has Tevin Jenkins going to Miami at 18, Travis Etienne at 19 to Washington. And then let's get down to the Steelers. See, this is one of those that you want to talk about worst disappointments. Draft night when you have these expectations for 3 or 4 dudes that your team may draft, and then Roger Goodell calls out a name that you barely even heard of, and you're then you have to talk yourself into it. That's what it is. He's got Schrager has the Steelers taking Eric Stokes, a corner out of Georgia, at 24. Says there hasn't been as much press for Stokes as we've seen for some of the other top corners in this draft, but he can definitely play. Perhaps the fastest corner in this class. He can cover a ton of ground. Pittsburgh could then address its run game woes in rounds 2 through 4. Yes, corner is a need. But to me, I'd rather get one of those top tackles at a pick like 24 than, a guy that's, kind of an unknown commodity but runs really fast. I don't know. Again, you would have to talk yourself into it. You'd have to watch what Daniel Jeremiah says and then hear what Colbert and Tomlin liked about him and then be like, okay, yeah, all right, this is, we're fine. I mean, it kind of happened last year with Claypool. I was all in on a running back. Shows how much I know. I'm a fan. That's how I'm supposed to be. But they take Claypool with their first pick in the second round. I was like, okay, I know he's big. I know he's athletic. Do we need another wide receiver with our first pick? But obviously, worked out. Dude's a stud. So now you just trust him, I mean, Colbert has hit on a lot of draft picks early. So you just trust him. But again, it's just that, There's nothing like that excitement of when you have a couple of guys and they pick the guy that you're like, fuck yes, I love that dude. That dude is going to be a stud. At least on draft night, maybe it doesn't work out, but then on draft night you're hyped. Then the other way when you haven't really heard of the dude and Roger Goodell calls him out, and you're like, okay, all right, yeah, okay. They cut to the fans in the stands who are Steelers fans, and they're kind of looking at each other. All right, yeah. I don't know. Eric Stokes. Interesting. Have to do some more research. Kadarius Toney going to the Saints. Could be dangerous. And then people really like this Trayvon Morig guy, safety out of TCU. He said he has him going to the Buccaneers. This is a dart at the wall pick. The Buccaneers can do anything here. I've had QB, wide receiver, and running back penciled in this spot. Merrick's my top player on the board, hasn't been selected, so he hasn't going there. But, yeah, people really like that guy a lot. I like Greg Newsome, too, out of Northwestern, first-round guy. It's crazy that Asante Samuel has a son that's getting drafted. You start feeling older when your team, the team that you root for or college kids are all younger than you when they're coming out of the draft or when they're playing in college. But I mean, when a dude that you vividly remember playing or watching play and being like, damn, that dude's good. Now his son's getting drafted. Yikes. That's old. That is really old. Hey, what's up? Hey, Paul. Yeah, how close is the Najee Harris, Travis Etienne conversation about being the NFL prospect? From I've asked Matt Miller, I've asked Daniel Jeremiah, I've asked multiple people who are draft people, and they say that Harris is the more complete back. He can pass protect better, better in pass pro. He's just all around in between the tackles better. And from Matt Miller, he said that, Etienne struggled. He's a little bit lighter. He struggled in pass pro. He's kind of more one-dimensional. This is from Matt Miller, and this is not from me. So I'm just relaying the info. So people apparently like Najee Harris better, but, I mean, you can make the pick for either one. Did I miss something? Do I need to check Twitter? Did he really get extended? From John, Pitt needs O-line, but if Harris is available, you got to snag. Fits the history of stud running back. Yeah, and that's another thing too, John, is that, I would love for them to take a Mauler round one that's just like a plug-and-play guy day one that comes in and just, he's going to be your tackle for 10 years. But having a talent like Harris, and then this offensive line class is pretty deep, man. I mean, you like – there's 4 or 5 tackles that could go in the first round, so that maybe all of them won't be there, or won't be taken, and then some could be there in the second round. I mean, the Steelers have 3 picks in the top 87, so I mean that's not bad. So I'm like, hey, you get a guy like that, and then your next 2 or 3 picks are nothing but the best available offensive lineman. That's just, in my mind, that's better than taking the best offensive lineman, but then getting another guy like James Conner, And I love James Conner, but like you need that dynamic guy, you know what I mean? Like you need a dude who can be like how Le'Veon Bell was for a while. Hey, good day from Australia. Go Cubs. That's awesome. My dad loves Australia, man. Got some friends out in Australia. I haven't been out there, though. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, damn, that's a long flight, man. That'd be really scary. Like you're locked in for a while on that flight to Australia. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys or not trying to put on a bad show. I'm just trying to get this update on. Here we go. Yep, from the Steelers, 22 minutes ago, we have signed Mike Tomlin to a 3-year contract extension. Okay. Yeah, I mean, what everybody's going to go back to is he's never had a losing season. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. The big one, obviously, never had a losing season, and you can't deny that. But I wrote after we lost to the Browns in the first round, I was like, I mean, eventually, like at some point, people have to be held responsible for what's been happening down the stretch in December and in the playoffs. Since his last Super Bowl, let's see. He's lost to Tebow in the wild card round, lost to the Ravens in the wild card round. 2015. Beating the Bengals with the backup quarterback. Beating the Chiefs, lost terribly in the AFC Championship game. It's just been kind of up and down. Sorry, John. I didn't know. Sometimes I don't know if people are like, he should be extended for 3 years. Like I just had to check. I want to check the sources. So I appreciate you letting me know, though, bro. Yeah, I think that's the big things. I love Coach T. I love Coach Tomlin. I think he is He is Steelers through and through. He gets the legacy, he gets the franchise, he gets the culture. He's helped forge the culture. He's helped. He kept Antonio Brown under wraps for a long time, which is saying something. And I love Coach Tomlin. The last 3 years, you've had collapse in December. Wild card exit against the Browns, your most embarrassing playoff loss. You can't get it done in 2017, the best team you've had in a while. You lose to the Jaguars after coming off a bye. I know they got rid of Randy Fichtner, and so I'm excited to see what Canada does, and hopefully, changes things up and is a little bit more. Hopefully, have more pieces like Najee Harris to be able to say, "Hey, we can open this thing up. We can get a little bit more creative. We're not gonna." Run a shitty run play on first down, be 2nd and 8, and then run a screen pass, and then on 3rd and 8, run a route tree that has Big Ben thrown it behind the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping for that. I'm anxiously waiting that, and I'm excited about Coach Tomlin. I think it's deserved that he is going to be around for 2007. So at least 17 years if he finishes out through this contract, which is incredible. But we got to put together another run here. We got to lock it in. We got to put together another run. We got to get back into the AFC Championship conversation and in that area, man. We can't be losing to the Browns in the wild card round. We can't be getting a bye and showing up and laying an egg in the divisional round. We can't go 1-3 in December anymore. We got to unleash hell in December, just like you said that you wanted to, and like you like to do. That's one of big Tomlin things. December football, time to unleash hell. Well, the past 3 or 4 years, hell's been being unleashed on the Steelers. So something's got to change there. We got to finish stronger. Now I'm getting into Saban with my hand motions. Anyways, let's see what else is on your guys' feed. So like I said, Steelers narrow it down. Went over Schrager's mock draft. Last night, apparently there's not going to be any Kobe Nike shoes anymore. Vanessa Bryant, his widow now, ended the contract with Nike and their partnership. So they cited a few different reasons, like they're sizing for kids. They weren't cooperating with them on that. A few other things where they just said, "Now we're going to cut ties." But it's crazy to think about how both at one point LeBron and Kobe, LeBron when he was in high school and when he was about to get drafted, was Adidas, and then Kobe was Adidas when he was first in the league. Those crazy 8s, like Afro Kobe and everything, late 90s, he was Adidas. And same for LeBron, and then Nike comes in and just swoops him. I never had any Kobe shoes. Never had Kobe shoes, but the article I was reading, it was pretty wild how they were talking about like Kobe with the low tops kind of changed the game in terms of how dudes wear their shoes playing basketball. Think about it. Like before Kobe started wearing the low top Kobe's in like 2008, 2009, it was unheard of to wear low top basketball shoes. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to snap your ankle in half. Like, it's crazy. And then he started wearing low tops. And then before you know it, all these college kids are wearing Kobe Nike low tops. And now it seems like that's the majority is dudes who wear low top sneakers while they're playing hoops. Because Kobe started doing it back like 2008, 2009. So, if you're a sneakerhead, if you're somebody who wants to, who likes to collect some Kobe's and everything, you better find a guy, you better find somebody to get you to connect because they're going to be going out, man. They're in that partnership. Yeah, Kobe shoes are always different for me. I wore LeBrons when I was growing up, when I was playing basketball, like grade school and high school. I liked the LeBrons a lot. I can never play in Jordan. Jordans were never a basketball shoe for me. They were always just a sneaker. Like you could get LeBrons to wear as like school shoes, but you could also get LeBrons to have as. I actually did that. I had the same pair of LeBrons back in 2008. One was my shoes to wear to school, and one was my shoes to play basketball in. But Jordans is like, you can't do that, They're Jordans. Can't go crease those things up and get them sweaty and nasty. I never had Kobe's though. I don't know. I just wasn't a low top guy, I guess. They always seemed too like slim, you know. Maybe it was just like the snake, like the Mamba thing, but they just seemed too slim for me. Got a white foot. I don't know. Last one, Dave season 2. Very excited. Very excited. Got to get the air horn out for this. Yeah. Dave season 2 with Lil Dicky, premiering on June 16th. Been waiting, man. That first season, I loved it. I mean, it reminds me a lot of quarantine. It reminds me a lot of being locked down. But this first season was great. It was funny. It was heartfelt. It was cool seeing Dave and kind of his little rise up there. And then so I've been waiting for season 2, and they did it all during COVID, man. There's a lot of shows like Stranger Things that they're like on a 3-year hiatus because of it. And Dave said, nah, we're going out there. We're getting season 2. We're going to give it to you the next year, which is awesome. So June 16th, Dave, season 2. Can't wait. I mean, we're already halfway through April, folks. I mean, once I leave Chicago, I'm going to be back in Indy for a week. And then all of a sudden it's going to be May. And I'm going to New York. I'm going to the office in New York for the first week of May. And then by the time you get back, it's like, holy shit, let's go racing. It's Indy 500 time. So once you get past it, once the Masters are over, you're getting on that downward slope of the calendar where it's like, all right, now we're getting into it. Now it's May, now it's summer, now it's football season. Boom, we're good. Made it through the dark times. 420. Blaze up. Wiz Khalifa that. The worst. Especially when it was like a dude who you didn't really like, who was just trying to be cool. And thank you. Look at this. I got coffee service in the room. It's my lady. She's over there in the king size bed. Thank you, though. The dude who was just definitely trying to like be cool and shit, and would wear like he had Chuck Taylors all the time, and the skinny jeans, and it was all just like, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. I was like, are you a baby, like coughing or like crying? I hated the Wiz Khalifa laugh, man. I was like, just let Wiz do it. You don't have to do it. Only he can do it. You sound dumb doing it. No, hotel coffee. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, let's get into worst nights of sleep. So I tweeted about it on Sunday night, and I tweeted about it last night. Sunday night, I was like, guess who's not sleeping, in quotes. And then it was your half-stuffed nose, from your half-stuffed nose. Half-stuffed nosed. Nope. Half-stuffed nose. Nosed. Anyways, on Sunday night, it was my left side. Last night, all of a sudden, about 7:38, I'm winding down. I'm mad because my TV in the hotel doesn't let me stream, so I can't watch Dateline because I like to watch Dateline every night with Keith Morrison before I go to sleep. Can't do that. And then all of a sudden, my right side starts to fill up. And now I'm even more mad because I don't get Dateline. My right side of my nose is all stuffed up and feeling like shit. And I'm having a hard time going to sleep. So my buddy Reegs, he was like, you should do one of those lists that you do about worst nights of sleep. I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I will. Like, how is it like that? And why is it like that? One side of your nose. Like, it's not both nostrils. It's just one, So when it's your left one, your right one's like feeling good and it's just like, hey, this is fun. I can breathe just fine. And the left one's over there like, and it's like, then if you roll over, you can feel the drainage going and it goes into the other side, so you can't just stay in the middle because then your nose is just stuffed completely. But either side that you flip to, it's going to drain into that side and then that side's going to be stuffed up. And no matter how many times you blow your nose, it still stays stuffy. I don't understand. I'm going to meet up with the Chicago guys here in a little bit after the show. Got to hang with them. Going to do some videos. Going to do a draft. So I'm really excited. It's going to be nice. All right. Worst nights of sleep because of what I talked about. Number 5, when it's too hot. Now, when people will say, well, what about when it's too cold? Unless it's a blizzard and you're sleeping underneath an overpass, that's the only time it can be too cold. When it's too cold in a room, grab a blanket, cuddle up, get warm. Nice and cozy, no sweat, not stuffy. But when it's too hot, then you're screwed. We can't open a window because our fucking cats will jump outside. So we got to get a fan, but the fan just blows kind of the same warm air. So you get a little bit of a breeze, but it's too hot. You're tossing, you're turning, you got a little bit of sweat going on. Like you kick off the blankets. You're just pissed. You're frustrated. And then you get yourself so worked up that you get even more hot. So number 5, when it's too hot outside, or not outside, probably when it's outside, but when it's too hot in your room, too hot in the bed, and you just can't get comfortable. Last time I went to New York, I got in my hotel room. I was like, it feels a little stuffy in here. Turns out the air was broken. I had to sleep the first night I was there. It was like 82 degrees in my room. I don't know how I did it. Like, I think I just got to the point where I was so tired that my body just completely gave up and just shut down. But, I mean, like, no covers anywhere near me. Can't open a window because it's in a fucking hotel. It was awful. Worst nights of sleep, number 4, first night in a new house or apartment. It's just so foreign. You're laying down, you're like, this still really isn't ours. Like, you wake up in the middle of the night, you don't know where the hell you are. It's just, you haven't gotten your bearings yet. You don't feel comfy. You don't feel like you belong. And then eventually, obviously, that wears off. But that first time, it's, you never have cable or internet hooked up. Your DVD player, is lost in a box somewhere. So you got to prop your phone up to have something on. Because I like to sleep with the TV on or a show on or something like that until the sleep timer goes off. So, you're sleeping. There's nothing else in your room besides just like a bed that's on the ground or, under your bed that doesn't have a back, a headboard or anything yet. It's totally dark. There's new noises that you haven't gotten used to. Because at your old place, you'd hear noises, but you're like, oh, that's just the fridge. That's the wind blowing the window. Like, we're good. But the new place, it's like, you're just a little on edge, Is somebody in there? Somebody not? Watching too much Dateline? Probably. Yeah. Number 4, new house or apartment. Number 3, like I talked about, the whole reasoning for this segment, stuffed nose. I'd rather the whole thing just be stuffed. All right. Because then you're just breathing through your mouth. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a really dry mouth and a really dry throat. But at least I can just go to sleep and not worrying about, wow, this is so annoying how I can breathe through one side, but I can't breathe through the other. If you have half stuffed nose, then you're tossing, you're turning, it starts to leak a little bit. You got to blow your nose. I don't want to blow my nose. It's loud. She's asleep. It's like the definition of annoying when you have one nostril stuffed up. I remember when I was a kid, my dad would be like, if I had a stuffed up nose like that and I couldn't sleep, my dad would be like, all right, well, just like sit on the edge of your bed and then just keep standing up and sitting down. And so my little dumbass would have like Angels in the Outfield playing or like Sports Center reruns. And I would just be standing up and sitting down and standing up and sitting down because like the changing of the altitudes or whatever altitudes. Like it's not 2 feet. But the changing from standing up and sitting down would like get your drainage going, and so your nose would get unplugged. And I'd do that until I fall asleep, and then I'd wake up and my nose would be stuffed up again, and I'd start sitting up or standing up and sitting down. And my mom would have gotten up and like come and checked on us, and just like opened the door a little bit and saw me just standing up and sitting down, standing up. She would have thought I was, possessed or something. Nope, just trying to get my nose unstuffed, Mom. Number 2, worst nights of sleep, Christmas Eve. I don't care what you say. People, in my mind, people who just have a sound night's sleep and sleep until like 10 a.m. from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day are nuts. Or you just blacked out at your Christmas Eve party and you were so drunk that you passed out and you're just zonked. But especially as a kid, all the way up until, even as an adult, like I still toss and turn on Christmas Eve. I'm still like rolling over, checking. I'm like, ooh. At like 1:30, I'm like, it's actually Christmas. Like I roll over to my wife. I'm like, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas. And she smacks me and tells me to go to sleep. And then I can't go to sleep because I'm too excited. So then I get the cat and I'm like, it's Christmas. And they're like, I'm like, nobody's excited that it's Christmas. And I know all the people in the comments are going to be like, people who respond to this, well, you must not have kids. There's nothing like a good night's sleep on Christmas Eve, and some morning I get to sleep in. No, Christmas is the only day of the year where sleeping in does not exist and it should not exist. Wake your ass up, be holly jolly, open up your presents, and have a fucking great time. If you got to double up on the coffee, double up on the coffee. But none of this sleeping until 10 a.m. shit, wasting away Christmas. Because that's the best part of the day. It's like 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Once 10 a.m. comes and goes, you're on the downslope. Christmas is done. Because then that's when grandma and grandpa start to come over and like the aunt and uncle that you don't like, and then you're screwed. So get your ass up on Christmas. And you know what? I don't ever want to be able to sleep on Christmas Eve. Because if I can sleep on Christmas Eve, that means I'm, one of those like boring doorknob people that I don't like, who's just like, oh, I like it good. That's what I sleep in. No. I want to be up with Santa and I want to fucking open presents and have a jolly ass time. Worst nights of sleep, number 1. This was tough. This was tough to top Christmas Eve, but after a lot of consideration, it is. Number 1 is when you have an open house in high school. When you're at an open house, you're having an open house. Either or. Mostly when you're at an open house. But, you're just so happy to be at a place where you feel free. No parents. You can booze it up. It's your house for the night. And, you're up all night. You're partying. You're having fun. And then all of a sudden it's like 4 a.m. And like people are starting to drift off little by little. People just start disappearing. Like it's like a murder mystery thing. You're like, where's everybody going? Because you and your buddies are having so much fun. And then you realize, people have just been going to get a good spot to sleep, right? They've been cashing out, going to get a good spot to sleep. So then it's like 4:15. The music is so loud because there's nothing else going on. It's just like you with 2 other people. And you're like, shit, I probably should go to bed. I'm like, yeah, I probably should. And then that there's just nowhere good to sleep. All the beds for sure have been locked up. You maybe the parents' bed is open, but you're not psycho enough to go into, your buddy's house that you kind of are friends with, parents' bedroom to sleep. You're like, nah, that's too weird. I don't want to have that responsibility. I don't want to have that on me, over my head. So what ends up happening is after you search, check the rooms, it's just your due diligence, just, people in there, door shut. Okay. Then obviously couches. Couches are taken. Couches are too deep. People are sleeping. They're like this, They got their head down here, taking up the couch. Shit. So eventually it just gets to the point where you're like, you know what? I just got to crash out. This little area over here, this little nook over here looks okay. You grab like one of the little bitch ass pillows from the chair. And then, like, of course, there's not any blankets left either. So you're sleeping in your jeans and your hoodie, and you do one of these. You do one of these. And you have your hoodie as your blanket, and your arms are cuddled up like this, and you're on the little bitch ass pillow that your neck is like kind of crinked down this way because it's so small, and you know your neck's gonna hurt so bad in the morning, but you're so tired and a little bit drunk. And you're like, whatever, as long as there's just like the All of Us or Sports Center on TV, I'm just gonna crash for like 3 hours, get up, still kind of drunk, go to McDonald's. Not drunk driving, but like you feel the effects from, the night before. And you're in your jeans and everything you wore the night before, and you're just going out to your car, and then you're going to McDonald's a little bit. And you're like, oh, at least I'll just go and sleep tomorrow morning, even though I have a volleyball game I have to go to for my sister at 10 a.m. And my mom's going to be so pissed because I got to go to that, and she's going to know that I was up until 4 a.m. and then I was probably drinking, and it's gonna fucking suck. But you know what? You just do it, and I'm just going to crash right here. I'm going to have the best 2.5 hours of sleep ever. And if I have to sleep in my backseat at McDonald's, I'll sleep in my backseat at McDonald's. But I'm going to get up, I'm going to do that, and then once I get through my sister's volleyball game, I'm going to get through that, and then I'm going to come home, and I'm just going to crash. Even though you know by that time that you're going to be okay and that you're just not even going to want to sleep anymore because what's the point? You've already made it this far. And that, my friends, is the number one worst night of sleep. Seen it too many times. So 5, the worst nights of sleep. Number 5, when it's too hot. Number 4, new house, new apartment. First night in there. Number 3, stuffed nose. 2, Christmas Eve. Number 1, open house at high school party, where you just crash. What do you think, RC? That pretty good list? Mm-hmm. You don't even know. She doesn't even know. She was on TikTok. She has no idea what I could have said, hey, do you want me to jump out of the window? And she just goes, mm-hmm. Isn't that funny when you have relationships like that? Like any family member, your husband, wife, girlfriend, mom, dad, when you've been together long enough, like when I ask you something, you just want to respond and you want them to not know that you weren't listening, because if you say that you weren't listening, then the repercussion is going to be worse than you just going, mm-hmm. So you just do that. Hey, Rye, should I chop my dick off? Mm-hmm. Oh, God love her. God love yous. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you guys feel it, man. I'll cut it up and put it out there later, but it's just every time, dude. You know the feeling. You can feel it right now as you're watching this. And I'm sorry on a Tuesday morning that I had to put you back in that headspace and that physical space to make you feel that. But you just know, like, I can feel it right now. I can feel the carpet that's not that comfortable. I can feel the jeans irritating my legs. I can feel the awkwardness of, like, should I take my socks off? Should I not take my socks off? Or probably shouldn't take my socks off. Like, you can't figure out the remote. You can't figure out the fucking TV remote. All you want to do is put on ESPN or The Office or something comfy to make you feel good, and you can't figure out how to do it because everybody has 4 fucking remotes in their living room, and they all have different things, and you're like, what is going on? And it's like 2 kids that, like, you have study hall with are, like, sleeping on the couch, and you're like, when did I ever think that I'd be, like, having a slumber party with these fucking kids? I love it, though. It's some of the best times. I like this from Andrew. I'm up at like 4 a.m. gazing at the presents, sipping coffee because I want the most out of Christmas. My brother is sleeping till 10 a.m. Whoa, everybody has a sibling that is like that. If I didn't wake up my baby sister at the crack ass of dawn, she would sleep till 10 a.m. But me and my middle sister are just like, every year I play a prank on her, even though my sister's out of school. I play a prank on her, and she gets so mad. And I get up in her face, and I'm like, I shake her, and I'm like, hey, come on, time for school. Hey, come on, we're gonna be late. We gotta have breakfast. We gotta go to school. And she gets so mad. But then I set her up because she gets mad. But I'm like, just kidding, it's Christmas. And then she's awake, and everything's all good. I'm with you, Andrew. I don't want to do that. Ooh, night before going on vacation from Peter. Huh. Yeah, I guess a little bit of that for sure. I mean, if you're like driving, you know, and that was it for me when you're driving to Florida, you know, and you're waking up in the morning, I like super early to where it's still dark outside, and you know that it's like, you know, it's like 10 p.m. and you're like, I'm only going to get like 4 hours of sleep anyways, and you're anxious and you're excited about being in the car because the car rides are fun, and you're just excited to be in Florida. I feel that. That's a pretty good one. The worst was being the first dude up. Are you talking about like at a party, like at an open house, or just like at a friend's house when you don't know what to do? Because if you're the first one up at a friend's house, you don't know what to do. I never knew if people were fake sleeping. I always had to be careful. Because one time, it was like me. I was at a buddy's house. It was like me and two other dudes were at this buddy's house, and they were like fake sleeping, I guess, a few of them. And their parents left Krispy Kreme donuts out, and of course, Glazing 5 gonna eat the donuts. And so I just went to town on these donuts, and like they still make fun of me because I was just like, because when the pin could drop and everybody's like sleeping, fake sleeping, nobody's making any noises, so all you can hear is just my fucking loud ass mouth chewing in on some Krispy Kreme donuts. Come on, yeah. And like before we had cell phones, you didn't know what to do. You know, like when you were at a buddy's house and you woke up and you didn't have a cell phone or anything, so you can just like scroll on that. You're just like kind of like, do I turn the TV on? I don't want to wake them up. You know, like probably won't know how to work the TV. I guess I'll just lay here and like look at the ceiling. I guess I'll just lay here and fake sleep when their parents walk out into the kitchen in the robe and I don't want to see them. Oh man, that was fun. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you for the commentary and for except that one guy. That guy can fucking shove it. But thank you for the commentary and for getting up with me and doing this show, because it's a lot of fun to bullshit about all that. So I'm going to link up with the Chicago guys. I'm going to be out in Wrigleyville later tonight. Really excited about that, even though it's going to be like it happened. I talked about 2 weeks ago. It's going to be 38 degrees and snowing. But came prepared, even with my stained sweatshirt. Maybe I'll grab a Cubs jacket or something up in Wrigleyville. I don't know. I just love Chicago. I love being up here. I love being by Wrigley. I'm excited to meet the Chicago guys for the first time in person. So going to be looking forward to that. If you have any Glazing 5 recommendations for Chicago, in the Chicago city area, metro area, let me know. Got some time to go and film some of those. But yeah, for those on YouTube, subscribe, please, below. We continue to grow the channel. Every time I check the YouTube studio analytics, subscribers are in the green going up. Same with watch time. So that's thanks to you guys. I appreciate it. If you're watching on Twitter, I appreciate you guys as well. Johnny, I love it. You got it. And you'll have some more clips up later in the day. But have a great Tuesday. Happy 420. Happy 420. Have a great one. And I'll talk to you tomorrow live at 9 Eastern, 8 Central.